Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Talk und bei mir habe ich ein neues Interview. Diesmal geht es um Öl und Gas und Lithium in der zentralasiatischen Region, Kasachstan, Usbekistan, bereits produzierendes Unternehmen. Condor Energies und ich kenne Condor eigentlich schon sehr, sehr lange. Das ist damals mit der Osisco-Gruppe eigentlich auch gestartet worden. Schon Rosenbauer involviert und so weiter. Das war eine richtig spannende Geschichte. Damals war ja Öl und Kasachstan und Usbekistan ja wirklich eine ganz spannende Geschichte. Wir wissen, Öl war in den letzten 10, 15 Jahren wirklich schwierig und hat nach wie vor einen schwierigen Standard. Und diese Firma versucht jetzt quasi auch die Energieumkehr auch umzusetzen. Aber uns ist auch allen klar, dass wir Öl und Gas die nächsten Jahre brauchen, weil ohne dem geht es auch nicht. So, bei mir ist der Don Streu, er ist der CEO und President von Condor Energies und er wird uns jetzt die Company einmal kurz vorstellen. Don, thank you for your time. I said in my German introduction, I know the company very long from the beginning. It was very interesting development to see. And I said also the oil and gas business was not the last in the last 10 years really an easy business. I love always this business. It's easy. It's easier to come to production. I must say it's always tough go to production. You have rules, you have regulations, and so on, so on, so on. But it's easier than normally commodities, and that's the reason why I really like the oil and gas business. But with the energy transition, what we have around the globe, it's tougher, and it's not really in the focus of the investors. That's also a problem what we have. So, but you doing a few interesting moves in the last years. So, and maybe you can give us in the beginning a rough overview of the company, what they are doing, where the production is coming, and what you are really planning now in the next steps.
Sure. Well, thanks for the opportunity, Joe. Great to see you. Condor's been around. We first became a public company in 2011, so we listed on the main board of the TSX, and we've continued that. Our focus then was oil and gas exploration and development, and that was in Kazakhstan. And so we made a very substantial gas discovery, and we monetized that. We made some smaller oil discoveries. The focus of Condor was finding big oil, and it was difficult to find in Kazakhstan. During the Soviet era, they had actually done a very good job of finding the supergiant fields. So we continued on that path really until 2021, and then our board took a strategic decision to really transform the company more into the energy transition space. And so we've got three parts to our portfolio right now. The first is existing producing gas fields in Uzbekistan. We're the first Western company to be in Uzbekistan. And the whole focus there is bringing proven Western technologies into the country because a lot of their fields are mature and their decline rates are 20, 30, 40% per year on the gas decline. And so we're bringing in Western technologies to arrest that and actually start growing production once again. The second part of our portfolio is lithium, or excuse me, is LNG. And so you take natural gas, you chill it, cool it, and these are modular plants, and so they're much smaller than when people think about the big scale LNG facilities. These are very small. But what you can do is take that that LNG that you've manufactured and displace diesel. And so instead of running diesel fuel in mine haul trucks and locomotives and marine vessels, you can run either 100% LNG or you can run a mixture of, say, 70% LNG and 30% diesel. And in this region of the world, because the price of diesel versus the price of natural gas, there's quite a margin between them. And so you can very effectively liquefy that gas because the feed gas price is inexpensive and displace diesel and still have a pretty healthy margin.
Mm-hmm.
The third part of our portfolio is lithium. And we're very excited about that. I mean, the markets are cool on lithium right now. The price went from $80,000 a ton 2 years ago down to $11,000 a ton. But we see it as a long-term investment and a long-term initiative to move forward with. And so we're looking at lithium brine opportunities. We've got one license in Kazakhstan now that we'll be developing over the next couple of years. And it's a way to really service both Europe, because we're strategically located here in Kazakhstan. You've got the European markets, you've got the Chinese markets, and so that really makes it fit in very, very nicely. So I guess to your point or your question, it's over the next couple of years, it's continuing to grow our Uzbekistan gas business. We're currently producing about 10,000 BOE equivalents a day right now, and we hope to raise that by 50% in over a short period of time by bringing in Western technologies. The great thing about the gas business is it's cash flowing. So Condor is now a positive cash flowing company. I think in Q2 this year, revenues were $19 million. So we're really starting to see that change. It gives us that foundation or that fundamental base that we can move forward with. The LNG business is going forward very, very nicely. Early this year, we received our first gas allocation from the state authorities in Kazakhstan. We've completed the initial engineering work on the facility. We look to start construction of the facility late this year, early next year, and be producing LNG in Kazakhstan in 2026. So that'll move forward. And our first target right now is the railway system. And so we'll be displacing a lot of the diesel used by the National Railroad with LNG.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll start up, that really comes online in the 2026 timeframe. And then, later in 2027, early 28, that's when we'd look to start producing lithium out of Kazakhstan as well. So it gives you, a real snapshot over the next 4 or 5 years of where we're going. We see a lot of, the greatest value obviously is in lithium price-wise and volume-wise, but certainly the LNG business and importantly the Uzbek gas business right now are really the foundation, and so they provide the free cash for us to move forward and develop ultimately the prize is lithium.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good description of the company. I coming to the gas business in Uzbekistan. You bought 8 old fields. They have really a high decline curve. Is this a normal decline curve that they're going down at 20% in average?
Yeah, gas fields can decline depending on their age, they can decline anywhere from 5 to 30 or 40%.
Wow.
Some you can actually go that quickly, and so it really depends on the reservoir, and a lot has to do with the technologies used when the wells were drilled.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also plays into it, which, by the way, we expect to start drilling horizontal wells in Uzbekistan next year. Another thing that's been done a lot in Canada. And what we're really pushing for in the latter half of 2025 is to drill multilateral wells.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big deal that's taking
Okay.
up North America, the craze.
That was my question. Do you not stand you have over 100 wells, as looks in the presentation. So, but you are planning really to drill new wells so that you can really growing up your production. Do you have an idea how many drills you can how many wells you can drill? So your drill inventories, what you have there? So,
So far we've identified 25 locations, 25 drill locations that we start that program next year, and it'll be a multi-well drill program. We expect to be in Uzbekistan for an extended period of time. This is not going to be a 2 or 3 year program and you walk away from it. We see a lot of potential. There's a lot of remaining gas. And quite frankly, Joe, we didn't move into Uzbekistan just to operate 8 gas fields. We see with our first mover advantage, we have the potential to grow our portfolio and do more. We met with the president of Uzbekistan earlier this year to review our project. Just last week, the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan came down and we presented again the things we're doing, because they're very, very interested in the technologies that we're implementing, because they're working. And the reason they're working is they've been proven in Canada over the last 20 years.
Okay, so this is a growing business, and in the beginning, I think you're working more on work over the existing wells so that you can increase quickly your cash flow and so on, and then you have enough cash to use the new and drill new wells. So
exactly.
So okay, understandable. And you have potential that you can grow with. When you buy more old fields.
That's correct.
So LNG Kazakhstan. So normally, I have always the understanding that the LNG plant costs a lot of money. So you built this the LNG plant, or is this existing LNG plant and you delivered only the gas there, or how it works?
We've partnered with a group out of the United States in Houston, and they'll be building the LNG facilities. I mean, you're exactly right, Joe. When you think about LNG, you think about multi-billion-dollar investments to build these facilities, but they can also put out 12 or 15 million tons of LNG per year. So it's a big business, and that's used for transportation. I mean, shipping from across the world. What we're looking at are modular LNG facilities. So they're very small. The cost of a modular LNG facility is, you know, the $30 to $50 million range. So significantly less, and yet it can produce enough. The first facility we're building can produce enough LNG to liquefy gas for 125 locomotives. So you're displacing that. Kazakhstan has 1,000 locomotives in the country right now, and so, you know, we see it as a big business opportunity. The first facility will literally fit on 8 skids, 8 40-foot skids, and it'll be shipped from the US, fully constructed, in 8 containers, come into Kazakhstan, and we take it out of the containers and plug it in and start LNG.
And you planned this capex out of the cash flow of the gas business of Uzbekistan, or to plan a capital raise, or how you will finance the first modular plant?
We'll look at some sort of funding for it. The Uzbek business, we'd like to continue with the capital dollars that we're making. As I mentioned, $19 million was revenue in Q2. We'd like to continue investing that in the country there to really rapidly grow the gas business and to expand the gas business there, because it will be very profitable for us and our shareholders. The LNG business, we'll look at the, you know, financing opportunities. Because it's such a green project, there's certainly a lot of interest from, you know, private equity folks, institutions, banks, even the super major oil and gas companies expressed interest in this thing. So I think there'll be a lot of interest in being able to fund it. And it's not a lot of money. You know, when you look at $25 to $50 million, I mean, one of Condor's mantras has always been to limit dilution. Since we went public in 2011, we've done one small capital raise, and I think it was 2022. It was like $3 million. So we've always learned to live within our means, and now that we have Uzbekistan generating cash, we've got a means to move forward. But we'll look at some various funding opportunities for the LNG business.
I like this guy. I hate dilution too. But LNG business. So you're really more focused now to use this LNG than locally in Kazakhstan, not to export it like all the American majors. They have these big, huge LNG plants and ship it then over to Europe and so on. So you thinking is more you use this LNG then locally for their business.
Exactly. It's more of a domestic focus, just because we don't have the sheer volumes to export. You know, that's why we require the big tanker ships. We're not filling tankers. We're filling locomotives and, you know, 240-ton mine haul trucks. That's
okay. Understand. There come one question in my mind about the gas business again. Where are you selling this gas to Europe or Uzbekistan itself, or where are the gas going?
The gas is domestically consumed.
Okay.
We're selling domestically. There's such a need for gas in the country. It's expanding. There's a lot of new foreign direct investment coming in. You know, the government's done a fantastic job really in trying to build the economy there. And so they're pushing for foreign investment heavily. There's a lot of infrastructure being constructed. General Motors has been making cars there for years. The major, you know, they've got the second largest gold mine in the world in Uzbekistan. Like there's all sorts of industries that the government's really pulling in, and so there's a huge demand for energy.
Okay, so lithium. Lithium is a tough business, especially when you are in the lithium business the last 2 years. The lithium price going down dramatically. All the major stocks are really going down dramatically. So what do you think why lithium in Kazakhstan is really a good idea?
Well, you know, location. we're right between Europe and China, and so two major regions of the world looking for more and more lithium. The lithium brine that we're going after is basically in wells that during the Soviet era had drilled, and they were dry, so there was no hydrocarbons associated with them. But the Soviets did record very high amounts of lithium, up to 130, 140 milligram per liter. And so those are very, very commercial, very economic. And I mean, I agree with you right now that the lithium price is low and there's not a lot of focus on it. I like to tell investors that we're actually a cash flowing lithium company because of our ability to generate cash in Uzbekistan. Our lithium program over the next couple of years will advance as we drill wells just to demonstrate what we think is in place right now, and we'll do that. We're looking to expand our footprint right now because, quite frankly, a lot of people aren't really going after the lithium business because of the current pricing. But we think it'll be a long game, and we're going to stay long. It's really driven by our location, just because we're 900 kilometers from China. We're a boat and a train load away from Europe for lithium supplies.
So the main focus is at the moment cash flow and Uzbekistan, then bring the LNG business forward and the lithium. Okay, you're working on it, yes. But you say in the brine. So what technology you think you use to extract the lithium out of the water? We in Europe, we have always then coming to mind in Argentina, the big basins were full or floated with water, and the farmers are crying and say, hey, the water level is going down like this. Do you plan similar something in Kazakhstan?
No, despite there being a lot of land, we're going to be very environmentally sensitive and smart about this. We're looking at direct lithium extraction technologies, DLE. I mean, right now there's some 55 companies developing in various stages. The first one will go commercial next year. And so, we're not targeting really until 2027 to need something like that. We think that technology will continue to evolve very quickly and more efficiently. But basically, you're able to pull the lithium out of the brine, out of the fluid, and then re-inject the fluid back into the ground where it came from. And so it'll be a very environmentally responsible project for us. Very green is really what we want to do with it.
And you have all data from the Soviet area, so you know exactly where lithium is, how the basin looks like. Are the data so qualified that you can use it, or is this only an indication?
Well, it's an indication, and that's why we'll go ahead and drill a couple of wells next year, just to validate both the lithium grade and the extent of the reservoirs as to where they are. So that's in our business plan for next year to move forward. We're actually going through some of the permitting process in Kazakhstan to do that right now. So we'll definitely validate it. I mean, you're looking at a couple $100 million investment in this, and so you want to make sure you've got it right from the start.
For sure. Next question is, what really, okay, but we have now the three business, but what we really can expect from the news flow side for the next 6 to 9, 12 months? What we can expect?
I think we can expect to see an expansion of just production in Uzbekistan. We're seeing that our early indications are the Western technologies are working, and so we'll keep the market up to date as to how we're progressing. As I said, taking a 20% decline rate and already flattening it in only 6 months is very impressive, and it merited a trip from the Prime Minister the other day just to come talk and to see it. So that's working. We'll continue to grow that business up. But obviously, as we continue to move in Kazakhstan, we're looking for additional feed gas supplies. So hope to have some news on that in the near term. We'll be, starting construction of our facilities, and so those two will be the major focus. But in the background, just because it's a couple of years off, kind of like building a mine, is the lithium business where next year, we'll drill a couple of wells and we'll see results validating what they did in the Soviet era. The Soviets were very good at measuring things. They recorded everything, and so we've been fortunate to capture the data. Having worked in Kazakhstan now 15 years doesn't hurt us either. So we really understand working in the country, and I think that's really given us a competitive advantage over some others that have tried in the past.
Last question. Do you planning any financing, especially for, as I said, LNG and so something, or you still think okay, with the share structure we can work?
We'll see what happens, and I think the reason we'll see what happens is we're looking at opportunities in Uzbekistan to drill multilateral wells. I mentioned earlier. And if we do that, I mean, those are a little more capital intensive, and so capital intensive. If we did a raise, it would be a small raise. It would be basically just to accelerate production. That would be the focus.
Okay.
Cash flow positive now, we're in pretty good shape.
Okay. Don, thank you for the first introduction to your companies. It was very interesting. I try now to summarize a little bit in German for my people. Ja, drei Revenue Streams kann ich eigentlich nicht sagen, weil es ist nur ein Revenue Stream, aber 3 Projekte sind es eigentlich. Also wir haben die Produktion in Usbekistan. Usbekistan, Gasproduktion, hat eine sehr hohe Decline Curve gehabt. Sie haben es mit westlicher Technologie jetzt schon mal die ersten paar Monate geschafft, es zu stabilisieren, und jetzt geht es darum, es zu steigern. Sie werden in Zukunft auch dort weitere Bohrlöcher bohren, also nicht nur die bestehenden Bohrlöcher überarbeiten, also einen Workover machen, sondern auch weitere Bohrlöcher bohren, auch dann horizontal bohren. One question about the horizontal drilling and multilateral drilling. Do you use fracking then also, or is it enough when you drill a horizontal?
I don't think we'll have to frack at this point. I mean, we're still dealing with conventional reservoirs, so I don't think we'd be in the fracking game at this point. It's just drilling these multilateral wells and really fingering into the reservoir.
Okay. Ja, also da ist wichtig natürlich, das mit dem Fracking abzuklären, ob dort auch dementsprechend Fracking genutzt wird. So, aber das ist eigentlich ein Cashflow-Business, und im zweiten Quartal haben sie 19 Millionen Dollar schon bereits umgesetzt, obwohl sie eigentlich erst im März dieses Projekt übernommen haben. Und das kann auch organisch, also nicht nur organisch, sondern auch anorganisch wachsen. Das heißt, bis jetzt sind die Leute auch, er hat vorher vom Premierminister geredet, oder auch der Präsident war schon da, der sich das angeschaut haben, die sind sehr überrascht eigentlich, dass man doch diese Produktion doch dann stabilisieren kann und auch wieder wachsen kann. Das eröffnet natürlich Möglichkeiten, dass man dort auch dann massiv wächst. So, das ist das Cashflow-Business in Usbekistan, Gas. Und das Gas ist auch interessant, wird großteils lokal verwendet. Also nicht nach Europa oder sowas transportiert, sondern es wird lokal verbraucht. So, dann kommt man zum Kasachstan-Business, und das ist ein LNG-Business. Und das LNG-Business ist, Sie wissen ja, Verflüssigen von quasi Gas, und das wird benutzt, um vor allem Dieselmotoren zu betreiben, allen voran Lokomotiven. Und das ist ein modulares Business, also modulares LNGs, denn das Problem bei diesen ist, ich kenne nur so große Anlagen, die kosten Multimilliarden, das muss man ja finanzieren, das ist aber da nicht geplant, das sind modulare LNGs, Terminals, die quasi zwischen 25 und 50 Millionen kosten. Das ist finanzierbar. Sie haben auch einen Direktor, der immer schaut auf die Dilution. Ich liebe diesen Direktor scheinbar, ich mag die Dilution genauso wenig. Wie gesagt, die 25 bis 50 Millionen kann man finanzieren. Und auch dieses LNG soll quasi dem Diesel beigemischt werden, um lokal auch dann verbraucht zu werden. Das kann man auch modular sehen, das kann auch modular dann aufgebaut werden, und da kann man dann mehrere modulare LNG-Terminals dranhängen. Und das erste, was er dort erwartet, ist die erste Produktion aus 2026. So, und dann kommen wir eigentlich nur zum Lithium-Business. Und das Lithium, wir wissen, Lithium ist nicht wirklich jetzt das Highlight-Commodity der letzten 2 Jahre. Ganz im Gegenteil, es war eigentlich ein massiver Downtrend im Lithium da. Und sie haben in Kasachstan ein Lithiumgebiet akquiriert quasi, das vor allem von den Russen schon damals gefunden worden ist. Und zwar ist es eine Sohle-Lösung, die eine sehr hohe Lithiumkonzentration hat, eine wirtschaftliche Lithiumkonzentration hat, und die sind eigentlich alles damals auch schon getrackt worden. Das heißt, die haben damals nach Öl und Gas gebohrt, haben aber Wasser gefunden, haben alle das Ganze sehr gut monitort, also analysiert, und haben dort sogar Lithium dementsprechend in brauchbaren Konzentrationen gefunden, war damals allerdings vollkommen uninteressant. Jetzt natürlich sehr viel interessanter, und sie verwenden natürlich eine Direkt-Lithium-Technologie, das heißt, die Technologie laugt quasi oder bringt das Lithium direkt aus der Lösung raus und pumpt dann das Wasser wieder zurück, damit solche Umweltschäden wie zum Beispiel in Argentinien und Chile nicht passieren kann, wo man diese großen Seen hat, wo man das quasi verdunsten lässt, das Grundwasserspiegel sinkt und. Aber das ist erst der Plan, der natürlich viel später ist, weil Lithiummarkt ist auch momentan überhaupt nicht gefragt, aber sie werden nächstes Jahr schon 1, 2 dort Wasserbohrlöcher bohren, weil natürlich alte Daten sind alte Daten, kann man natürlich nicht verwenden, aber die Wahrscheinlichkeit Ehrlichkeit, ich meine, die Russen haben das damals auch richtig gut gemacht. Wenn die damals das festgestellt haben, dann wird sie jetzt auch noch dort sein. Also in Summe haben wir hier eine Company, die Cashflow produziert in Usbekistan, mit LNG sehr schnell in Produktion kommt, 2026, und dann quasi ein Lithium-Projekt dementsprechend im Hintergrund dann aufzieht. Hier haben wir nochmal das Management-Team und ich wollte jetzt eigentlich die Aktionärstruktur schauen. Wo ist die Aktionärstruktur? Die habe ich doch irgendwo gesehen. Es sind sehr wenige Aktien draußen. Ich habe gesagt, bis auf einen kleinen Rest 2022 haben sie eigentlich in den letzten Jahren nie was am Markt aufgenommen und das ist eigentlich auch sehr positiv zu sehen. Hier haben wir die Marktkapitalisierung, 57 Millionen Aktien sind draußen, 120 Millionen Marktkapitalisierung, das dürfte ziemlich aktuell sein. Nein, mittlerweile sind wir sogar niedriger. Ich schätze, wir sind um die 100 Millionen Marktkapitalisierung. Das ist doch für so eine Company eine interessante Sache. Also zumindest sollte man ein Auge drauf werfen, dass man diese Aktie nicht dann übersieht. Ich werde es bei mir jetzt einmal auf die Watchlist rausschmeißen und dann schauen wir mal weiter. Don, thank you for your time. Good luck with the workover and the new drilling in Uzbekistan and also with the LNGs. One little question with the LNG: is there any problems about that you get the permits for this, or is it in this area easier to get the permits and so on?
The government is very much behind us in the project. I think that's one of the reasons we were given the gas allocation. Gas is valuable in the region, and we've been gas to liquefy the gas. Our first customer is going to be the National Rail Company. So the government is very supportive of this. So we don't see any issues in terms of permitting. Once again, we're doing things that have been done elsewhere in the world. Just haven't been done here.
Okay, na perfect. Ja, also Genehmigung ist nicht wirklich das Problem. Ja, perfect. Thank you for your time and good luck. Hopefully we have time in 3 to 6 months, then you see more about the gas business and also the LNGs. Maybe the financing is in place for the LNG, for the first LNG plant. That would be great. And hopefully we have then time to talk again.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Have a good day.